The open three is good.
Three, how about that?
Two Eagles there. Norman finishes. Around into the corner, and Tarham will quiet this crowd. Mitchell got it. Nice look. Wants the drive and kick. That three does go down. Zay Lowry. That three will fall. It's a goal. Saved for a three for Jones. Cam Jones.
Welcome to Inside Marquette Basketball here at the Al McGuire Center. I'm Sophia Minert, joined by Marquette men's basketball head coach Shaka Smart. And coach, after the most recent games, Creighton, St. John's, UConn, you've described them all as being Big East wars. And your team just played a really tough portion of the schedule, 3 losses to those teams. You're in the middle of it, right? The Big East battle. What do you think about, the last 3 games and what your team has gained from experience in those games?
Yeah, a lot of experiences, tough games, different. All 3 of them were really, really different. The UConn game, it was the beginning of the game, where we put ourselves in a really tough spot. I thought our guys showed an incredible fight, after getting down a very large margin. St. John's was kind of a game where, a lot of things weren't going our way, but we're up at halftime. And I think that, sometimes when you're on the road, it feels a certain way, as a player or as a team, but you just have to look at the scoreboard and say, you know what, we're okay. We can go win this game. And I thought some of our guys did that. What these 3 games have in common is, I think it's a reminder for all of us that we need everyone, to be successful. We've had some guys play really, really well in specific games. We've had some guys not play as well. And the way we do things, it's all about multiplying each other and making each other better. So, we spent a lot of time lately together talking about how we can make sure that everyone's at their best. And
for your team, this is a stretch that, frankly, a lot of them are not familiar with. Your program has not lost 3 straight since your first season. So, for your starting lineup, for your veterans, they're not used to this, which is a credit to how much success they've had, right? And how much winning you guys have done. So how have you seen them just handle it emotionally, mentally, and then keep competing the next game?
Well, the good news is everyone keeps coming back to the building. It's, as a coach and as players, nobody takes losing harder. Our guys put their heart and soul into this. They truly care about winning. We don't recruit guys that don't truly value winning, and we don't add people to our staff that don't. So it's tough. It's kind of a fine line between you have to be okay as a person enough to, get out of bed and come in here and work together to move forward. But at the same time, you don't want to be okay with that result, or more importantly, what went into that result. So we, go back to work, focusing on all the controllable aspects of who we are culturally, defensively, offensively. It's still early February, so there's a lot of basketball to be played. There's a lot of improvement to make. And the one thing I tell our guys this a lot, that adversity can do for you if you are willing to accept it, is it can give you a very powerful energy to grow.
Yeah, and you said after the Creighton game, there's a lot of details in why you win a game, why you lose a game, right? So what are you learning about your team of maybe some common threads or things you want to address? You're in practice yesterday, you're getting ready for DePaul, you're always on to the next game. So what are those priorities for you now?
Same as they've always been. Making each other better, connecting with each other to make our whole greater than the sum of our parts. I think in some ways this is the most challenging time of year to do that for some players and teams, just because it's near the end of the regular season, but the end is not quite yet in sight. But the reality is we get to come in here every day. We get the opportunity to practice and play in this unbelievable league, and home games, playing 5-serve, road games, playing places like Madison Square Garden, or go to Omaha and play in front of 18,000 people there. So it's an opportunity. I think, for us, you always go back to the basics and the fundamentals of who you are when things aren't going as well as you want them to go. So that's what we've done.
In the last two games, against St. John's at Madison Square Garden and then Creighton, two of the hottest teams in the Big East, right? These are the teams that you're chasing right at the top of the standings. One of the really silver linings of that St. John's game, it was obviously a violent game, very physical, just a Big East battle that you've come to expect. A lot of fouls called, as we know. But your bench points, that was the most bench production that you've gotten. Zayd Lowry was right in the middle of all of that. What did you think about, the support that you got considering all the foul trouble that your team was battling that day?
Yeah, I think we have some young guys that are growing, developing. That's how we do things in our program. We try to, bring guys in after recruiting them, from their junior year on, and developing relationships with them and their families, helping them grow. They get here and basically to a man, guys aren't as ready as they think they are, but that's okay. And our job is to grow them as people and as players. We're aggressive in that. We spend a lot of time on that. Our staff works very hard at that. Our guys put a lot of time in downstairs in the gym, in the weight room. And at some point that pays off. You just don't always know when. My coach used to tell me things don't always happen when you want them to, but they always happen on time. Might not feel like it's on time, but it's great to see Zayd and Royce particularly making strides. And then Trey, Demarius, Caden, those guys all have had different moments where they've stepped forward and helped us. And we're going to need that. And if we can continue to build out the depth that we can have on this team, then that can pay dividends for us this year. It also can pay dividends for us in the future.
We've got more to talk about here with Coach Smart coming up here on Inside Marquette Basketball.
I thought the way you guys prepared for this game the last 2 days helped us. We had it in us, even though we didn't really do it in the first half defensively. It was in there so that we were able to bring it out. You guys understand? Sir. Let's roll. Come on, big slate. Right there. No finish line on 3, 1, 2, 3. No finish line.
Shaka Smart's interview is presented by Wintrust, Wisconsin's bank, the official banking partner of Marquette University.
Not your bank's top priority? Here at Wintrust, we take a different approach to banking. No hidden fees or runarounds, but a true banking partner focused on your unique financial goals. Whether you're opening your first account, found your dream home, planning for the future, or starting a business, we have the financial solutions to get you there. Stop settling and start experiencing a better way to bank. Wintrust, different approach, better results.
After a serious injury, you'll need an experienced team on your side. Call Gruber Law Offices today. Proud partner of Marquette Athletics. One call, that's all.
This is me at my strongest.
This is me at my fastest.
This is me at my happiest.
This is me at my bravest.
This is me at my healthiest.
With Aurora Healthcare on your team, you can achieve your personal best and live life to the fullest.
Achieving my dreams means setting boundaries with alcohol and other drugs. In the classroom, I am focused and keep distractions to a minimum. I need to balance my studies, basketball, friends, and healthy choices. During training, I'm giving every ounce of energy I have. Sometimes winning means not taking every shot I'm given. Join me in Rise Drug Free MKE and let's achieve our dreams.
Back on Inside Marquette Basketball with head coach Shaka Smart. And coach, you were just talking about the depth, right, in your young players and Zayd and Royce in particular. How have they responded to the challenge of these last 3 games and just, the physicality and the top teams in the conference and, stepping into more minutes?
Well, I think those guys, most importantly, are learning that they can play, with anybody on our schedule, anyone that we play against now or even later in the season. That sounds basic, but as a young player, that's very, very important. Sometimes as a young player, you check in the game and you're not quite sure, do I belong out here? And so those guys are gaining valuable experiences and understanding that they belong. And I think that all 5 of the guys we bring off the bench have made major progress in that way. At the same time, they're not all the way there yet. They've got to keep making progress in practice, which they are. One of the things that we saw in my first year here is our practices oftentimes, particularly the day before the games, a lot of times 2 days before the game, are the 5 starters in gold or blue against guys that come off the bench in the opposite color. And my first year, that was our 5 starters against David Joplin, Cam Jones, and then a couple other guys. And in the second half of the year, that group that came off the bench actually would outplay the starters. And we even put Greg Elliott that year with the starters, even though he didn't start. So there were 6 of them. And it was a good omen, a sign that these guys are going to be all right. They're going to be good players here. But I distinctly remember Cam Jones and David Joplin led our practices in scoring the second half of that year. But they weren't quite ready to go in a game and night in and night out be that guy. Now those guys have both scored over 1,000 points. In Cam's case, he's approaching 2,000. So we're not going to bring someone in here that's scored 1,500 points somewhere else. And some people might not agree with that, just the way we choose to do it. We think we can grow these guys up, but it puts incredible onus on everyone in our program, players, coaches, support staff, to really pour into their growth. And again, first and foremost, as people.
Well, and you bring up Cam Jones, and even though the comeback against Creighton fell short, you put together some big runs, had a lead late in that second half. But Cam really looked like himself that game. 27 points, a handful of assists, a handful of rebounds as well. Most recently, Cam was named to the Bob Cousy Award list, which is a great honor, right, as being the top point guard in the country. And we've talked about Cam a lot, but you challenged him of you're going to be assessed in all these different areas as a point guard. How do you think Cam has earned his way into being on that list, right? A short list of one of the best guards.
Absolutely, and I think I saw the list. I think he's the best of all those guys, but I'm obviously biased. Listen, we've really set a high bar for Cam, so it's like, wow, he looked like himself. Well, he's been really good in almost every game. It's just, the standard we have for him is so high, and quite frankly, with the 2 guys we lost from last year, what we need from Cam is almost unfairly high, that standard. But it is what it is. Last year, we talked about this a lot the last few days. He scored 30, I think it was 32 points and 35 points in back-to-back games last year in Big East games. But he did so as the 3rd option on our team, or the 3rd guy on the other team's scouting report. It is infinitely easier to do that when everyone on the other team is focused on Tyler Kolek and Oso Ighodaro. For him to score 32 and 35 points in back-to-back games for us now would be so much more impressive just based on the role he's in, the expectations that are placed on him, the way the other team approaches him with their defense. To me, I've kind of moved to the point where my evaluation of Cam is, as much as anything, his spirit and approach towards the game. Is he playing with approach goals as opposed to avoidance goals? Is he playing with a chip on his shoulder? Does he have an aggressiveness to lead and attack? No half shots, no half plays. He's so conscientious. I don't know if I've ever coached a guy that wants to win for his school, university, fans, teammates, more than Cam Jones.
We're going to introduce fans to one of your new assistant coaches, CJ Rivers. First year in the program, you brought him over from Colorado State. So, Coach, what can you tell us about CJ, adding him to your staff, and how he's helping your team this season?
CJ's great. He's really talented. He's like DeAndre Haynes in this respect. If you don't like him, there's something wrong with you. I mean, he's just he's a sweetheart of a person, newly minted father, and just had a baby a little over a month ago. He's going to be as good as he wants to be as a coach long term. I'm on him every single day about three things: urgency, proactivity, and creativity. I'm hard on assistant coaches. I think assistant coaches are historically poor in those areas, to my standard. Not urgent enough, as if you were the head coach, that level of urgency. Not proactive enough and not creative enough. Well, necessity is the mother of invention. What makes you creative is, hey, I have to be creative. And so that's something that I was just texting CJ at about 7 a.m. this morning. I'm on him about it. He's growing. He's going to be really, really good. He'll be a head coach in time, but we're very happy to have him here at Marquette. He adds value to our guys in a lot of different ways.
Inside Marquette Basketball is brought to you by Aurora Healthcare, helping you to live fully.
There's regular cold, and then there's the mountains are blue cold. Mountain Cold Refreshment. Coors Light. Choose chill.
This is me at my strongest.
This is me at my fastest.
This is me at my happiest.
This is me at my bravest.
This is me at my healthiest.
With Aurora Healthcare on your team, you can achieve your personal best and live life to the fullest.
Hey, grab me one too.
Welcome back to Inside Marquette Basketball, joined now by CJ Rivers. And CJ, welcome to the show, and also welcome to Marquette, your first year as an assistant coach here under Shaka Smart. So first of all, just tell us how Coach Smart was able to get you here to Marquette after your last couple seasons as an assistant at Colorado State.
Yes, I got a text from Coach Smart actually, basically introducing himself and saying he had connected with one of my former employers. I work for Drew Valentine at Loyola Chicago, and the two connected about the open position he had here. And when you get a text from Coach Shaka Smart, it's excitement. It's, where do I sign up, pretty much. So the interview process was quick, and it was obviously detailed and thorough, as Coach Smart always is. And when he offered me the job, it was a no-brainer. I was excited to come and join his staff here at Marquette.
So you were in. You get that text from Coach Smart, and what was it about him or this program or the team that attracted you here to Milwaukee?
Well, it's awesome that one of the first things he shared with me was the culture document that everybody in the program obviously lives by here at Marquette, and just how so many different things resonated with me. First as a player, and how that's conveyed to the players, and then as a coach, and how it's no different in how we both act, interact, and respond as a culture. And those things being able to resonate, and then obviously just getting here, meeting the people, seeing how well-oiled the machine that is a program is run, it was a no-brainer. I fell in love right away.
He did share with us, he's on you a lot. He pushes you just as much as his players, which yes. We know how much he pours into this program and into this team. And the three priorities for him about urgency and proactivity and creativity, how has that gone in your first season?
It's going great. I mean, obviously the second core value here is growth. And again, it's no different from, obviously the players are the most important, but his staff and his ability as the head coach to pour into his staff as well. That's one of the things that's unique. And then those three things, like he gave me a clear and direct plan when I first got here. Obviously a couple months of me getting my feet on the ground and him getting to know me getting to know him. And then once that process started to get some traction, then it was okay, these are three things I think you can really work at for your personal growth, and obviously make you a better coach for our players. So that, like you said, the proactivity, the creativity, the urgency, those three things were what he saw that could take me to the next level in my career, and obviously, again, be able to help our players, which is the most important thing.
Give us some insight of just kind of the day-to-day, your work day, how you're interacting with the other assistants, and obviously everyone executing Coach Smart's plans, and then your practices with the players. I mean, this is people I don't think understand. This is really an around-the-clock job during the season.
Yeah, it's very collaborative between the staff and obviously the players. In the morning, there's usually some kind of individual workout with some of the players that we kind of oversee in different position groups. We'll meet as a defense every day, especially on prep days going into a game. Depending on who's got the scout, that coach will meet with the scout team, get them organized for what kind of looks we want to get the team on the floor during practice. And then there's usually another individual workout right before practice just to get the guys going. It's a film session. After the film session, we meet with the scout team again while the team gets warmed up and prepared to get on the floor. And then you got your practice where you're simulating the game as closely as you can and cleaning up some of the things that maybe you talked about in the film session or that you saw in the last game. And then after practice is a little more work, just whether it's some vitamins with ball handling and passing or some extra shots with some guys, some of the younger guys getting some more work with some defensive concepts that they may need to catch up on. But like you said, it's a busy day, and like I said, it's a well-oiled machine. We got it down to almost a science with, it's like clockwork, and these guys want to do it, which is the best thing.
Well, you not only have a new job, but you're a new dad. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You welcomed your son Royal just a couple months ago. So how is dad life with basketball in the middle of a season?
It's been awesome.
Yeah.
You kind of figure it out. I mean, you're riding the high of, man, I'm a new dad, I'm a new parent. So it's not really as tiring as it probably should be, just because there's so much loving emotion and positive energy that goes towards him. But then there is definitely the sleep schedule that you got to figure out, and how am I going to balance work. And he's been great as far as he'll sit and watch film with me. He's not difficult at all. He doesn't cry much. Maybe he's hungry or needs to be changed, but it's been great. It's been great, and my fiance has been great with them as well. And she understands, the time commitment that goes into my job, but being able to balance the two and work together collaboratively has been awesome.
Well, congratulations. And Coach already gave us the scouting report that little Royal's already got big hands, and he's watching film, so he's going to be on the court in no time, right?
He is, and it's not a better group of people to be around it with. He'll be a tough little guy for sure.
Yeah. Well, thanks, CJ, for the time. It's great to meet you, and continued success here at Marquette.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Inside Marquette Basketball is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
After a serious injury, you'll need an experienced team on your side. Call Gruber Law Offices today, a proud partner of Marquette Athletics. One call, that's all.
Not your bank's top priority? Here at Wintrust, we take a different approach to banking. No hidden fees or runarounds, but a true banking partner focused on your unique financial goals. Whether you're opening your first account, found your dream home, planning for the future, or starting a business, we have the financial solutions to get you there. Stop settling and start experiencing a better way to bank. Wintrust, different approach, better results.
This is me at my strongest.
This is me at my fastest.
This is me at my happiest.
This is me at my bravest.
This is me at my healthiest.
With Aurora Healthcare on your team, you can achieve your personal best and live life to the fullest.
Inside Marquette Basketball is presented by Pepsi. Thirsty for more. Inside Marquette Basketball here at the Al McGuire Center with Shaka Smart. And Coach, your next game against DePaul here at home, your team will then get your second bye of the Big East Conference season, so your team will get a chance to regroup. But there will be a former Marquette coach in the building. Tom Crean will be on the call for the DePaul game. I know you've spent some time with Coach Crean, and he has spoken to your team, spent some time with your players in the past. What do you look forward to maybe seeing Tom on the sidelines against DePaul?
Well, I look forward to seeing him before the game. It's always a learning experience just listening to him. I mean, the guy has an encyclopedic knowledge of what goes into winning. teams, nuances of what makes players effective, what makes teams effective. So it's great just to hear him go. Is golden. And I'll say this, Sophia. I believe that Tom Crean should be in the rafters here next to Al McGuire and Hank Ravens. Because if you look at what Tom Crean did from the beginning of his time taking over the job here and where the program was, not just from a win-loss standpoint, but from a fans, facilities, the whole infrastructure around the program to where it was when he left. And of course, what all schools have in common is they don't like when the coach leaves. So, you know, people may have felt a certain way or whatever, but that was a long, long time ago. And the reality is he put this program in a position, first and foremost, to be in the league that we're in right now, which if we weren't in this league, what league would we be in? Secondly, he recruited the best player to ever play here, and the relationship that they had together while he was here and after D. Wade moved on to the NBA and beyond has been exactly what a relationship should be between a player and a coach. And again, he put this program on a trajectory for us to be able to do everything that we're trying to go do now. And so I believe that he deserves that recognition. And I know we live in an era where coaches and even former coaches aren't recognized maybe as much or appreciated as much as they were in the era of Al McGuire. But man, Tom Crean, Marquette would not be what it is without Tom Crean. So you can tell I'm passionate about that.
Well, just as a fellow coach, everyone has their own personalities, their own styles. What do you admire most about him as a coach?
His intensity, attention to detail. You know, we all know Jay Billis, who's certainly an expert on college basketball. This is quite a compliment. Jay Billis has written this publicly, and I've heard him say this. He said, the best practice I ever went to was at Marquette. It was a Tom Crean practice. And I remember reading that and thinking, wow, like he's seen everyone. I mean, he's seen all the greatest coaches in their practices. And that's quite a compliment.
Quite a compliment. It'll be fun to have Coach Crean back at Marquette for the DePaul game. Thank you, Coach, for your time. That's a wrap on Inside Marquette Basketball with head coach Shaka Smart.
This has been a presentation from Learfield,